Hello everyone and welcome to my Bachelor Nation official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and gives this video a thumbs up. In a video uploaded on social media, Joan Vassos of the Golden Bachelorette may have hinted at where she and Chalk Chapel would eventually live. Chalk and Joan met and got engaged during season 1 of the Golden Bachelorette in late 2024, and they've been enjoying the high life ever since, jet-setting around for vacations and job responsibilities, but they haven't decided where to settle down yet. Joan is from Maryland, near Washington, D.C., and Chalk is from Wichita, Kansas. Amidst all of this, Joan has stated that her new life has been extremely difficult. Joan Vassos and Chalk Chapel have indicated a desire to relocate to New York City, and it appears Joan has a huge issue about her hometown right now. Many believe Joan will relocate to Wichita, where Chalk has a settled life. They've been spending a lot of time there, and Joan posted a TikTok about being tired of living on the frigid East Coast. Joan, an emerging social media influencer, stated in the video, which was a promotion for Rock Skincare, that she enjoys the brand's moisturizers because the winter weather has been drying her skin. She stated, "I need a vacation. I'm really tired of the cold weather in DC, and it's not just me, my skin is as well." Joan's film provides some insight into her state of mind as she tries to pick out where to live with Chalk. She's visited Chalk in Wichita several times, becoming acquainted with his life there. She's met his friends and seen his favorite eateries, and Chalk seemed excited to introduce her to life in the Midwest. They've been noticed at apparel stores and even on the cover of a local magazine in Wichita. If Joan is so bored of the weather in DC, she may be indicating that she is ready to relocate elsewhere. Even though winters in Wichita and New York City can be chilly, Joan would like the change of pace, and being with Chalk might be worthwhile. It could be preferable to be chilly in the same city as her sweetheart so they can at least cuddle together. Joan may want to take a vacation right now, but she may also be indicating that she is ready for a change and is willing to relocate with Chalk. Joan seems less committed to her hometown than Chalk, therefore it is unlikely that he will go to Maryland. The Golden Bachelorette lead seemed more open to life in Wichita, thus her video about dry skin could have been a foreshadowing of something bigger and more exciting to come. Joan Vassos had always been someone who lived with one foot firmly planted in her responsibilities and the other tentatively pointed toward adventure. Before becoming the first ever Golden Bachelorette, she had been defined by her Maryland roots, her family, her teaching career, and her quiet but steady life just outside of Washington, D.C. She had raised children there, built decades of memories, and had cultivated a community that knew her as more than just a face on television. But life had a way of reshaping itself once she said yes to being the face of ABC's newest franchise experiment. Meeting Chalk Chapel in late 2024 had been both unexpected and exhilarating. Chalk was bold where she was cautious, decisive where she wavered, and deeply grounded in his Kansas upbringing. From the moment they got engaged in that season finale, fans had wondered not just whether they'd make it as a couple, but where their love story would eventually land them. Joan's recent TikTok video, though disguised as a skincare promotion, stirred more conversation than she anticipated. To her, it had been a light-hearted way to express that the dry winter air was wreaking havoc on her skin and spirit. Yet the internet, as it often did, read between the lines and pulled out implications she had not outright stated. "I need a vacation," she said in that clip, bundled in a cream-colored sweater and sipping tea by a frosty Maryland window. "I'm really tired of the cold weather in DC, and it's not just me, my skin is as well." What to her felt like a relatable complaint quickly evolved into speculation about whether she was preparing to uproot herself entirely and start over in Wichita, New York City, or somewhere in between. For Chalk, the idea of moving hadn't been as complicated. Wichita was home. It wasn't flashy like New York, nor steeped in political energy like DC, but it had the rhythm of his life, longtime friendships, local haunts where waiters greeted him by name, and a business that required his presence. He'd built a solid, respectable career, and his identity was intertwined with the city in ways that made leaving difficult to imagine. He had been nothing but encouraging of Joan's desires, though eager to meet her halfway if she wanted a new adventure. In interviews, he often joked that he'd follow her anywhere, even to the moon, so long as they could keep laughing together. Fans watching this post-engagement chapter unfold were torn. Many believed that Joan, who had always been tied to Maryland through her children and extended family, would struggle to detach herself completely from the East Coast. Others pointed out that she seemed revitalized when she was with Chalk in Kansas, where their outings included everything from attending small-town fairs to enjoying quiet evenings in local diners. Wichita media had embraced them wholeheartedly, even featuring them on the cover of a lifestyle magazine that dubbed them Love in the Heartland. That magazine cover, showing Joan leaning comfortably into Chalk's shoulder with a wheat field glowing behind them, made some fans believe she was indeed preparing to adopt Kansas as her home. But Joan's social media told a slightly different story. She posted photos from weekend trips to New York City, where she and Chalk strolled through Central Park bundled in scarves, and even shared a playful clip of them dancing outside Radio City Music Hall during the Christmas season. "Something about this city just makes me feel alive," she captioned the video. New York represented possibility, vibrant energy, cultural opportunities, and, importantly, the chance for Joan to continue expanding her influencer career while also keeping herself within a few hours of her children in Maryland. Her daughter had even commented on one of those posts with, "Mom is glowing in the city lights," which fans took as a subtle approval of Joan's potential relocation there. The conflict, of course, lay not just in geography but in lifestyle. Joan had lived much of her life in a suburban setting where community mattered, where neighbors dropped off casseroles during hard times, and where PTA meetings filled weeknights. Chalk's Wichita life mirrored that community-driven feel, but it was thousands of miles away from the children and grandchildren Joan wanted to remain close to. New York, while exciting, came with its own barriers: the cost of living, the anonymity of big city life, and the question of whether Chalk, a Midwestern man through and through, could thrive in a metropolis that moved at a breakneck pace. Joan herself admitted during an Instagram Live session that her new life felt extremely difficult. Not in the sense that she regretted it, on the contrary, she often said Chalk had been the greatest surprise blessing of her later years, but in the reality that falling in love at her age required a kind of reinvention she hadn't anticipated. She described it as both exhilarating and exhausting, confessing that sometimes she lay awake at night wondering how to balance being a partner with remaining true to her identity as a mother, grandmother, and woman rooted in her own routines. "Love doesn't erase who you were before," she said during that live stream. "It just asks you to make room for someone else, and that's a beautiful challenge, but it is a challenge." Behind the scenes, Joan and Chalk continued to travel, juggling speaking engagements, charity events, and quiet weekends where they could step away from the noise. They spent Christmas in Maryland with Joan's family, where Chalk gamely joined in a chaotic gingerbread house competition, endearing himself further to Joan's children and grandchildren. A week later, they rang in the new year in Wichita, sipping champagne at a neighborhood party where Joan laughed until her sides ached at stories of Chalk's teenage antics. Each place held pieces of their hearts, but neither felt fully decided. Thanks for watching. If you likes this video, do not forget to subscribe my channel and do not miss any update.